It's an impossible city. It can't exist. And yet here it is.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez get married.
You mentioned a big party. That is an understatement. We actually have an estimate from the regional governor who puts the price tag on this 3-day event at more than $50 million. For context, about 1,000 times more than the average American spends on their wedding.
Because that's what you do when you are Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. You invite only your close, you're literally one of the richest men in the world, worth $250 billion. So you'd make sure that you only invite the people who love you for you.
So Megyn Kelly just dropped some tea hotter than a SpaceX rocket launch. And everyone's losing their minds over Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding. $50 million for 3 days in Venice. $50 million! Do you know what regular people spend on weddings? About $50,000 if they're feeling fancy. This man spent 1,000 times more than what normal humans spend on the most important day of their lives. The audacity is astronomical, and apparently, so is the fakeness behind it all.
Because what matters to them is that it's a star-studded event, not that they have dear friends who love them standing up for them when they take a sacred vow.
Kelly's sources are saying this whole Venice spectacular was basically a Hollywood theater with better catering. They already got married a month before this circus. A month. So what was Venice then? The world's most expensive Instagram photo shoot? The man owns Amazon. He could have just ordered a wedding online with next day delivery. Free shipping with Prime membership, am I right? Instead, he rented out an entire Italian city to flex on the rest of humanity. The flex was so hard, even Mark Zuckerberg was probably taking notes for his next metaverse wedding. The guest list reads like a who's who of people who definitely got paid to be there. Oprah showed up, which automatically makes any event 50% more legitimate in America's eyes. Tom Brady was there too, probably wondering if he could throw a football over those Venetian canals. The Kardashians rolled up looking like they were auditioning for a reality show called Keeping Up with the Billionaires. 200 guests, they said, only close friends and family. Close friends with a combined net worth that could buy several small countries. But hey, who's counting?
And obscene foam parties thrown on private yachts. To me, just my opinion, it feels very freak off adjacent. Oprah and Gayle, I have a theory. I just think Oprah's around too many dark people.
The foam parties on private yachts, though, that's where things get spicy. Kelly's insiders are calling it F off adjacent. And honestly, when you're throwing foam parties worth more than most people's houses, you've officially entered villain territory. These aren't your college spring break foam parties where someone brought a bubble machine from Walmart. These are artisanal, organic, sustainably sourced foam parties catered by people who probably have Michelin stars. The foam probably costs more per bubble than most people make in an hour. Lauren Sanchez showed up to this whole thing looking like she stepped out of a completely different decade than when she first started dating Bezos. The transformation is so dramatic, plastic surgeons are probably using her before and after photos as their business cards. Kelly's sources are whispering about the pressure to maintain a certain look when you're dating someone with enough money to buy and sell small nations before breakfast. The woman went from respected journalist to living Barbie doll, and everyone's pretending this is normal relationship evolution.
I just feel like the excessiveness of it is meant, it's the same thing as like fanning out your money and with a middle finger in front of it for the paparazzi. Because I didn't go call the paparazzi and say, hey, I'm on a boat in Greece, come take my picture. There is a reason these two always happen to get shot while on their yacht.
Bezos himself has transformed from that slightly goofy-looking tech guy into what can only be described as a walking protein shake advertisement. The man is so ripped now, he probably bench presses rocket ships for fun. His head is so shiny, NASA could use it as a backup satellite. The glow-up is real, but Kelly's sources suggest it's all part of this elaborate midlife crisis performance art piece that costs more than most countries' GDP. The paparazzi shots that keep flooding social media, all planned, according to Kelly's investigation. Every single yacht photo, every butt-grabbing moment, every foam party scene, it's all choreographed better than a Broadway musical. They're literally calling the paparazzi themselves and saying, hey, we're gonna be spontaneously romantic at these exact coordinates at 3 p.m. Make sure you get our good angles. The spontaneity is so fake, even Disney movies are more believable.
So they want us to be looking at this, Maureen, which is a real middle finger with the money splayed out.
I columned on it for the Mail the other day, and I called it Jeff Bezos' big fat incel wedding.
Venice locals are apparently still recovering from this financial flex fest. The regional governor estimated the economic impact, and it basically broke their calculator. $50 million spent in 3 days. That's about $694,000 per hour, assuming they partied for 72 hours straight. Most people don't make that much money in their entire lives, and these two burned through it faster than a Tesla battery in winter. The locals went from welcome to Venice to please leave Venice real quick. The timing of this whole spectacle raises eyebrows thicker than Bezos' newly muscular biceps. Kelly's sources point out that this wedding circus happened right when Amazon workers were fighting for better conditions and higher wages. The man spent more on party decorations than what thousands of his employees make in a year. The optics are so bad that even a blind person could see the problem. While his workers are using food stamps, he's using Italian cities as wedding venues.
So much of this has always been, ever since he split with Mackenzie Scott and, his relationship, his extramarital relationship with Lauren came to light. They've both undergone significant physical transformations.
This is what Jeff Bezos actually looks like on the left. And then here he is over on the right, post whatever he's doing. Maybe it's just hitting the gym in the same way Jennifer Aniston is just drinking a lot of water.
The most disturbing part of Kelly's expose is the suggestion that this whole relationship is performance art with a very expensive budget. Sources describe Sanchez as living under constant pressure to look a certain way, act a certain way, and be photographed a certain way. She went from being an accomplished professional to what appears to be a very expensive accessory. The woman was a helicopter pilot. She could literally fly herself away from all this, but apparently the golden handcuffs are too tight. Every public appearance becomes a calculated move in this weird chess game of public perception. That infamous Trump inauguration outfit that had Mark Zuckerberg's eyes popping out of his head? Planned. The casual yacht butt-grabbing sessions? Scripted. The foam parties that would make college students jealous? All part of the grand performance. Kelly's sources suggest even their romantic moments are focus grouped for maximum public impact.
This entire thing is such a farce. Number one, not least because we just learned they got married a month ago. They've been legally married for a month. Right. Okay, so this is just a big F-U. Look at how much money we have, the people we can buy. We can buy the city of Venice.
The psychological warfare aspect of this relationship is what makes Kelly's investigation truly disturbing. Sources suggest Bezos is using this whole public display as revenge against everyone who ever doubted his attractiveness or masculinity. The divorced tech nerd is now showing the world he can bag a former model and make her dance to his tune. It's giving serious peaked in high school but with billions of dollars energy. The constant physical modifications both of them have undergone read like a horror story about the pressures of extreme wealth. Kelly's insiders describe a relationship where even basic human features become negotiable based on what looks better in paparazzi photos. Sanchez's face has changed so dramatically. Facial recognition software probably can't keep up. The pressure to maintain this artificial perfection must be exhausting, but when you're dating someone who could buy and sell countries, saying no becomes complicated.
Lauren Sanchez living her best life? I don't think so. I think she's paying a very, very, very high price to be the next Mrs. Jeff Bezos.
The Venice wedding becomes even more absurd when you realize it was basically a very expensive do-over. They were already legally married. The whole thing was a theater for people who have enough money to buy actual theaters. Bezos essentially spent $50 million on the world's most expensive Instagram story. The man could have bought a small island, named it after himself, and declared independence for less money. Kelly's sources paint a picture of a relationship built entirely on public perception management. Every kiss, every hug, every romantic gesture gets calculated for maximum media impact. They're not having a relationship, they're producing a relationship. The woman who was once respected for her journalism career is now primarily known for how good she looks in a bikini on a yacht. The career downgrade is more dramatic than any stock market crash. The foam parties specifically deserve their own investigation because, according to Kelly's sources, they serve multiple purposes beyond just being ridiculously expensive fun. They're conversation starters, image rehabilitators, and distraction techniques all rolled into one sudsy package. When people are talking about your foam parties, they're not talking about your labor practices or tax avoidance strategies. It's the ultimate rich person magic trick. Look at the foam, not at the exploitation. The guest list strategy reveals everything wrong with modern celebrity culture. These people don't have friends. They have networking opportunities with better catering. Oprah shows up. because being seen at billionaire weddings is part of her brand maintenance. The Kardashians attend because controversy follows them like a loyal dog, and this wedding had controversy written all over it from day one. Tom Brady probably came for the Italian food and stayed for the chaos. Kelly's investigation suggests the whole relationship timeline is more manufactured than a Tesla assembly line. The leaked private messages that ended both their previous marriages, convenient timing, the physical transformations that happened simultaneously, coordinated effort, the public displays of affection that always happen when cameras are around, professional-grade performance art. Even their love story has been optimized for maximum public engagement. The most telling detail in Kelly's expose is how this wedding was designed to be a middle finger to everyone else struggling financially. While inflation crushes regular families, these two threw a party that cost more than most people's lifetime earnings. The message was clear. We have so much money, we can waste it on principle. The arrogance is so thick, you could cut it with a diamond-encrusted knife. The aftermath of this wedding spectacular shows how disconnected extreme wealth makes people from reality. Kelly's sources describe both Bezos and Sanchez as genuinely confused by the negative public reaction. They expected applause for their love story and got eye rolls instead. When you live in a world where everyone around you is paid to agree with your decisions, negative feedback becomes a foreign concept. The transformation of Lauren Sanchez from accomplished professional to what Kelly's sources describe as a living doll represents everything toxic about relationships with extreme power imbalances. The woman went from flying helicopters to being photographed in foam. The career trajectory went from inspiring to concerning, faster than you can say, prenuptial agreement. Her independence got traded for Instagram-worthy moments and designer handbags. The Venice locals who witnessed this financial apocalypse are apparently still processing what they experienced. Kelly's sources describe the event as an invasion rather than a celebration. When your wedding disrupts an entire historic city's normal functioning, you've officially crossed from celebration into occupation. The fact that they had the audacity to call it an intimate gathering while requiring military-level security coordination shows how detached from reality extreme wealth can make people. Kelly's final bombshell revelation ties this whole circus back to Bezos' desperate need for public validation after his divorce. The entire relationship, according to sources, serves as an elaborate revenge plot against everyone who ever questioned his desirability. The message being sent is clear. Look what I can afford, look who I can get. Look how I can make her change for me. It's giving serious I'll show them all villain origin story vibes, except the villain has enough money to actually show everyone. The most disturbing aspect of Kelly's investigation isn't the waste of money or even the fake romance slash. It's how this relationship has become a case study in what happens when unlimited resources meet unlimited ego. Sanchez went from being a person to being a project, and apparently she's not even the final version yet. Kelly suggests the modifications and changes will continue, as long as the relationship serves Bezos' image rehabilitation needs. The Venice wedding, according to Kelly's sources, was never about celebrating love. It was about proving a point to everyone who ever doubted Jeff Bezos could reinvent himself as a desirable alpha male. Mission accomplished, apparently, but at what cost? $50 million, one woman's career, and the respect of everyone who witnessed this financial obscenity disguised as romance. Kelly's investigation reveals that even in the world of extreme wealth, some prices are too high to pay. But when you have infinite money, the concept of too expensive becomes meaningless.